been away for a few days, but I've come back to some very interesting news stories about 9/11 and Al-Qaeda and Bin Laden, the boogeyman. You might have missed them, so I'll just go over them briefly. The first is a story about a guy called Alan Hart. Now, Alan Hart is a very well-respected reporter and writer. He worked for the UK's ITN News as chief foreign correspondent, and he also presented the BBC's Panorama programme, as well as writing for several newspapers, and he's also written several books. So the information and his opinions really do have to be taken seriously and listened to. Now, what he says is he has contacts with one of the world's leading engineering and construction firms. He asked them to look at the collapses of the towers, and as we all suspect, the company said that yes, they were definitely brought down in a controlled demolition. Now, Alan Hart says this was originally a plot by Islamic extremists, which was infiltrated by Zionist agents, as many people suspect, who, in conjunction with the neocons in the US, basically took over the plot and made sure that it happened successfully. So, just more evidence really. You really can't dismiss what this guy says because, you know, he's interviewed many world leaders and written for many well-respected publications, and he's been friends with people like Yasser Arafat, Shimon Peres. Now, even more disturbingly, Alan Hart says that there could possibly be a nuclear false flag attack carried out by Zionist elements within the Israeli government and security services within the US. I'll put a link to the interview down here in the info box. It's about an hour long, but well worth listening to, so you can judge his information and his opinions for yourself and see how credible you think they are. Now, the second story appeared in the Washington Post the other day, and I'll put a link to that down there in the info box. And this is really quite an incredible story, which I urge you to read. And it backs up what many of us have said, which is that the intelligence services are routinely producing fake videos of Bin Laden just to keep this myth of the Bin Laden boogeyman alive and to justify the continued occupation of Afghanistan, Iraq, and the bombing of Pakistan. It's quite an incredible story, so check it out. And it comes from sources within the CIA who've revealed that the CIA planned to produce a fake video of Saddam Hussein involved in paedophilic sex with boys, and they were going to then flood Iraq with this fake video, obviously to discredit or to try and discredit Saddam Hussein. And in this article it actually says that they produced a video of Bin Laden. What they did was they got intelligence agents, dressed them up as Bin Laden and some of his cohorts. They had them sitting around a campfire drinking alcohol and talking about their sexual experiences with boys. And again, this was obviously to discredit Bin Laden and Al-Qaeda in the minds of the Islamic world. So it's quite incredible news really, and as I say, it just backs up what we've said, that these videos and these audio tapes of Bin Laden are most likely to be fakes. I can really recommend an essay by David Ray Griffin called Bin Laden Dead or Alive, in which he goes through every single video and every single audio tape that's been credited to Bin Laden since 9/11, and he shows how they're most likely to be completely fraudulent. In fact, the last genuine video of Bin Laden was probably back in December 2001, the one where he was looking very ill, and that was most likely just before he died. So yeah, the CIA have admitted that they're producing these fake videos, and anyone who thinks that the intelligence services don't do that just needs to read this article. That's what they do. They just use any means possible to try and keep the myth of Al-Qaeda and Bin Laden alive. It's completely insane. And it just justifies what a lot of us have been saying, which is happening more and more. We'll say something, we'll be ridiculed for it, and then it'll turn out that what we've been saying is completely true. So, you know, we just need to keep plugging away really and hopefully we'll see more and more people waking up to the fact that this war on terror is being completely manipulated, and Bin Laden, the boogeyman, is most likely dead, and we're living in a massive lie. Alright guys, cheers.